Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Thanks for joining us for another video. Hope you all had a safe, fantastic New Year's Eve. Just like to wish every single one of you all the best for 2024. Get involved in today's chat, Reds, as usual, in the comments. Now, look, where do we start with Manchester United? You know, 2023 is closed, going into 24. Is there any optimism at all that we can start turning some results around and gaining some consistency?
Well, I don't know about consistency. I don't know about turning the results round. I'm not too sure about Erik Ten Hag. The pressure's on now. He could be sacked any day. He could be sacked in 4 weeks. He could be sacked in 6 months. The pressure is on. If anyone watches our channel consistently, they'll have noticed that we've not been doing Erik Ten Hag's press conference because I just believe that Erik Ten Hag is staring in the abyss. I'm not too sure whether he's got these players on side. I'm not too sure whether Erik Ten Hag can actually do it, but he has come out with some astonishing comments recently, and that's what we're going to discuss, Kay.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I'm sure a lot of you out there would have noticed in recent weeks we've stopped doing the press conferences straight after it. And yeah, he's coming out with some baffling comments. Some of it we can't really just sit on camera and mask our actual own feelings on it, because it's not good for us, to be honest with you, listening to some of the stuff he is doing. And I think he needs to change tactic for me, because a lot of people I speak to who are Manchester United fans, the support for him is wavering, because they've seen some tactical decisions on there that just aren't making sense. Some of the words in his press conferences before and after the games, again, is not making sense. And I think he needs to start calling these players out. I think a lot of fans out there who are wavering would get back on side if he was actually saying it how it actually is with some of these players. And, you know, he might get a lot more support and backing.
Some of the players have let him down. They're not backing him. I don't think he can get anything out of some of these players. I listened to his press conference pre-match Nottingham Forest. He turned round to a question and he was asked, has he spoken to Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe? He's turned round, said no, but they're backing him and he backs them, and that things are going to be fine. I just don't understand that. That's baffling. For someone who's not spoken to anyone, he's turning around and saying they want to work with him and he wants to work with them. Well, that tells me he's getting a new contract. He feels as though he's getting a new contract, because if they want to work with him, you have to remember, in the summer, he's only got 12 months left. And the manager of Manchester United cannot hang around with 12 months left. So is he basically saying they want to work with me, they're going to give me a new contract? Well,
that would be a massive statement if Ineos come in when it's all been ratified with the Premier League rubber stamps, and then not long after they go, yeah, there's a new contract, an extension.
Well, this is the thing. That's what I take from his pre-match press conference. They want to work with him. Well, if they want to work with him, he's got 18 months left. So
one summer transfer window.
That's it. So give him a contract. That's basically what he's saying. Or is he saying that? Because it is confusing, but that's what I take from it.
Has he got the minerals to actually take Manchester United forward, sort this mess out? I've got to be honest with you, I'm wavering a little bit with some of the decision-making he is making. Look, we all can see there's a drop-off in quality. A lot of these players in this squad are just simply not good enough, but I just see some of the instructions and the decisions he's making from the sideline, and it's just not, for me, a manager who might be able to take us forward and actually compete with the likes of Pep Guardiola, Klopp, even Arteta going forward. And that's the thing that worries me. You're also hearing news on Johnny Evans. He's recommending Johnny Evans for an extra 1-year contract. Lindelof, even Rafael Varane. We spoke the other day, and you wanted Ineos to come in and be absolutely ruthless and start sacking people. Well, them three kind of players, they're good players. But if we're being ruthless and we're being honest with each other here, these type of players shouldn't be getting new contracts.
I look at Erik Ten Hag, and I looked at him and I listened to him, what he said after the at the press conference yesterday. He's turned round and he said, we overachieved last year. Well, signings like that aren't going to improve us going forward. So at the end of the day, overachieved. Well, what does he mean? I've been listening to Erik Ten Hag in his press conference. He's been very confident, except up until lately. He just looks a different man. He looks changed. He looks dishevelled. Everything about him, right? Now, if he's turning round and he's quoting that Manchester United overachieved last year, and in the same breath, he's been saying this year, I can do this team. This team's good enough, and I've got my players. Yes, we've got injuries and all that. He wasn't using the injuries as an excuse before. Now he's using the injuries as an excuse and wait till I get my players back. Well, his players were there last year, plus his signings. And you've got to look at some of his signings. 16 months Anthony's been there now. Absolute flop. And yesterday's, well, not yesterday's, the day before's performance against Forest was abysmal. No, he's not the only one, Anthony, right? But there is some questions to be asked about the players going forward. And Erik Ten Hag, if he is to stay in this job, there has to be massive changes. He's under pressure, and I can't see Ineos walking in here in 4, maybe 6 weeks' times and just saying, everything's fine, Erik, you carry on. I cannot see that at all.
But there's no one there at the top who's a leader and leading this football club, and he's isolated here, Erik Ten Hag. He's on his own. You know, he's only really new into the job himself, and look at the amount of problems he's had to deal with since day one walking into this football club. He's still dealing with them now, and who does he go to? John Murtough. That's not going to fill you with confidence in it that he can actually, you know, go out there within the football club and start leading it himself. And you can go to him with any problems and it'll get sorted out. It'll be left in the paper tray with him. So for me going forward, you've got to stick with the manager. I don't see there's any point in sacking him. I really don't. To get an interim manager in, and then let's see if we can get a bounce and then maybe make the Europa League this season. I wrote it off. We're not going to win the league this season anyway, are we? Let's have it right.
No.
We're not going to get in the Champions League. So let's just leave it how it is, you know, and let's just face it and get some of these kids blooded in. Get that the likes of Goring, get Hannibal in, get Kobbie Mainoo in, give him still a run of games going forward. Let's hope Hoyland's performances keep going and getting the confidence from that Aston Villa game, getting goals in. And for me, let's then have a look at it towards the end of the season. You know, I think that's what Ineos will do. If they've not got the confidence in him and they don't think he's the right man going forward, you will see changes in the last 4 to 6 games at Manchester United, where they then get their man in who's got then the time at the back end of the season to bed in and then look at the transfer market in the summer.
Okay, you talk about changes. Lots of people out there talk about changes and they talk about the manager. I've spoken about the manager. His in-game management has been poor. His substitutions have been poor at times, okay? They have to improve. And you talk about Kobbie Mainoo. He took Kobbie Mainoo off against Forest. Should never have done it. You talk about Hannibal being on the pitch instead of McTominay. He's not putting him on there. He's not changing it up. He's still sticking with the tried and tested formula of some of the players. Some of the players you call out there as his pets. Now, at the end of the day, he is not changing what should be done, what you and I are calling for. This is a fault, and it's a big fault, and it could be the end of him if he doesn't change it in the next 4 games. He is making mistakes. I've said it. To me, it looks as though he's physically and mentally lost it. So the question out there has to be, does he stay till the end of the season? And if he does stay till the end of the season, here's what's got to happen. He's got to be given a long-term contract. That's the dilemma we've all got to face. Get a new manager in, keep Erik, give him an extended contract, and let everyone know who's boss. That's it.
No, I totally agree. Show the backing, show the faith in him as well. And like you just said there on press conferences, the way he's looking, how would we look if he was in that job? How would all of yous out there look if you're in that job with no leadership, working under the Glazers who are never there, no support? John Murtough, these aren't people who are elite in class. These aren't people who know what they're doing. So I would probably look the same, sound the same. Hypocritical at some points in the press conferences before and after games and not knowing what to say and knowing what to do. But for me, if you want to get some of the fans who are 50-50 or wavering over your support, Erik, start calling some of these players out or start dropping these big stars, so to speak. Get them on the bench, out the squad, get some of these younger kids in. Because like we've seen early on in the season, we played all the kids in the Carabao Cup. One of the best performances we've seen this season at home to Crystal Palace. I know it's Crystal Palace, but the kids will work for you. The kids will run. The kids will fight. So for me, that's what he's got to do. And towards the end of the season, well, let's hope he can turn it around in 2024, because I certainly do. And I'm still backing him right now, but there's a lot of things that I'm not happy with. But I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us. Like I said at the start of the video, just like to wish you all the best for 2024. Hope you had a fantastic night on New Year's Eve. And we'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday with another video. Thanks for joining us.